A B Corp is using business as a force for good.
Hello, my name is Ria Windcaller, and I am the producer and cider MC of this weekly podcast, where we speak with makers, cider enthusiasts, and folks within the cider trade from around the world.
Hip, hip, hooray!
Bringing us into episode 414 of Cider Chat, we heard from Ted Barber telling us what it means for a business when they choose to be certified as a B Corporation. And in a nutshell, it's using your business as a force for good. That is a wrap your arms around me into a warm envelope of love type of statement. Who wouldn't want to support a business that is using their mission, their model as a force for good in the world, specifically to measure, manage, and improve their social and environmental impact? And that's what you're going to be hearing today in this here episode. You're going to hear from a solar company, a candle company, a coffee company, and a cider company that are all certified as B Corporations. And I think you're going to find this absolutely inspiring on so many levels. In the show notes to this episode 414, you will find an overview of the actual panel discussion. You also have a link there to find a B Corp in your area, so the region of the world that you live in, or it could also be industry-wide. So I put in the word cider to find out how many cideries in the world are B Corp certified. And this is for the whole global economy. 5 is the total. And in the U.S., there are 2 cider brands. We have the oldest certified one since 2015 is Fin River Farm and Cidery in Washington State. So yay for them. And also Berkshire Cider Project in Massachusetts. And that is one of the guests on this episode. That's Kat Han, who is a co-founder of Berkshire Cider Project. And they have been certified since 2023. Then up in Ontario, Canada is Ernest Cider. They've been certified since 2017. And then Rambord Cider in Luxembourg since 2020. And in South Africa, Stoli Cider since 2022. Stoli is also South Africa and London-based too. Definitely check out their website to see their mission statement. Folks who are B Corp are really proud of that certification, and they use it as also a message to really show transparency, their environmental stewardship, and their social responsibility as a B Corp. I think what's most valuable about this conversation for me, because I didn't really quite know what I was getting into when I was recording it, was the personal stories of why each business decided to become a B Corp. It was super inspiring. So I think that you, like me, will really enjoy this episode from a different perspective, business-minded, but also so consumer-driven. So stay tuned for that feature panel coming up. But first, we have a wee bit of news from out and about in Ciderville. This episode of Cider Chat is partially sponsored by the Pennsylvania Cider Fest, which is taking place June 15th. At the South Mountain Fairgrounds in Biglerville, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 minutes outside of Gettysburg. They have 2 hotels that have shuttles to and from the fest. That is the vibe. And believe me, I do know Pennsylvania. Worked there for many years, and I even lived in Pennsylvania for a little bit. So my heart is always a piece of it in Pennsylvania, and I love what they are doing here. Plowman Farm Cider is presenting this fest, also working with homebrew events to make it happen, and they are just doing a knockout job. So the event itself begins at 12 p.m. From 12 to 1 is VIP tickets. And you want to get that VIP ticket and just use the promo code CIDERVILLE, all capital letters, to get $10 off your ticket. The entire event goes till 4 p.m. So you could get a general admission too. That's fine. You get to go in at 1 o'clock. But if you get a VIP ticket, you have that nice time between 12 and 1 for VIP where you get to talk to the pourers, to the cider makers on hand, and just settle into it before general admission comes in. And then when there are these seminars, you have some special treats because there's going to be a cheese and cider pairing discussion. And all VIP ticket holders get their own cheese plate, which is going to be super dreamy because it is a local cheese maker. I love all the layers here. Here's some more things to know about it. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be a marketplace with different vendors and live music. And one thing that just shows you how accommodating the folks in Pennsylvania are, it says, bring your own tents and lawn chairs. How often do you see that at a festival with cider? Not too often. Sometimes it just feels so regulated. But here, the Pennsylvania Cider Fest is really doing such a nice job to make it so consumer friendly. There's going to be links in the show notes to the PA Cider Fest, or check out their Facebook page and Instagram. Both are just PA Cider Fest, and you'll be able to find the links for the tickets there. Don't put it off, because tickets can sell out to something as good as this. June 15, use a promo code Ciderville, all caps, get $10 off, and bring your own tents and lawn chairs.
Walking through the orchards.
And for those wondering, yes, the French cider tour to Paris, Normandy, and Brittany, curated by myself and led by myself, has been sold out. But that doesn't mean that you can't get your name on the wait list in case there's any more openings, or for the next cider tour rolling out and about into Ciderville. Just send an email to info@ciderchat.com. It's time for Who's Been Cross-Promoting Cider? First off, we have Ryan and Casey's Liquor Stores, based in Greenfield, Massachusetts, my special spot in Ciderville. And don't you know, they downloaded and printed out in full color the info flyer all about Cider Chat and posted it on their cider shelves, which are totally bountiful, and on their case. And then posted it on social media. Thank you so much to Christy at Ryan and Casey's Liquor Store for doing that and sharing that there is a cider podcast out there with over 400 episodes in the archives. Definitely check them out. They're right off of the highway and have one of the most nicest curated collections of ciders available in a store in Massachusetts. Then going to Green Bench Cider. That is also known as Green Bench Brewing down in St. Petersburg, Florida. We had an episode with Brian Wing there talking about his cider making on episode 398. They also posted the info flyer on their social media. And then our friends in Denmark, Thai Cider, mentioned that they were mentioned on Cider Chat. And it was kind of like, that's what cross-promotion is all about. The excitement of getting mentioned on the podcast and sharing that around. So thanks a lot, Nikki. And our friend Marcel at this Netherlands cidery, De Hannenaer, had a post about the most recent episode 413, all about the ancestral methods, which he said was my favorite method. And I totally get it. Outstanding cider at De Hannenaer, which means the gardener in Dutch. Then we saw Jan Gills and Raging Cider and Raw Cider, which were all featured in last week's episode on ancestral methods, reposting and resharing on their accounts that episode. So thank you so much. And then one of our big patrons, Press Then Press, which is an online cider shop, they add the flyer, the info flyer about Cider Chat, into their box when shipping to encourage folks to listen. And they also cued in via a QR code their episode. Is that not brilliant? Here they are showing how to listen to our episode. And of course, the folks at Press Then Press have an amazing, amazing selection of ciders to be had. Then we also saw Natalia at Cider Explorer share an episode too, that recent episode on ancestral methods. I mean, this is just this is crazy making. I just thank you, Ciderville. Thank you so much. And then most recently, we saw Soam's Cider Works. This is based in Warren, Rhode Island, which is right by like Providence, Rhode Island, just a stunning area of New England. And they mentioned how their guest, this is what they said. They were really excited that they had their 200th batch of cider, feeling pretty prolific. And then one of their guests mentioned, there's a podcast with over 400 plus episodes. And they're saying, wow, that is super prolific. So that's the way the love gets shared around. We're all like boosting each other up. You too can help cross-promote cider by using the hashtag #XPromoteCider and also downloading the info flyer at Cider Chat and sharing it with everyone out there in Ciderville so they know there's a resource for all to learn about cider making, getting tips, orchard tips, travels and tours, and events. Find it all at ciderchat.com. Up next is our featured presentation on B corporations. You'll be hearing from Bridget Sprague of Revision Energy, Ted Barber of Prosperity Candle, Beth Spong of Dean's Beans Organic Coffee, and Kat Han of Berkshire Cider Project, making this a very good time to grab a glass and join this chat.
My name is Bridget Sprague. I am a vice president at Revision Energy. We are a solar company that was started 21 years ago out of Maine. We recently combined with Sunbug Solar, who is also a B Corp and is in eastern and western Massachusetts. We've been a B Corp since 2015. We absolutely love being a part of this incredible community. We love supporting each other, and I'm so pleased that you are all here with us today. So thank you for joining us.
I'm Ted Barber. I'm a co-founder of Prosperity Candle. We've been a B Corp since 2014, happily so. We make candles in East Hampton and some other products, including corporate gifts, and our mission is to support refugees around the world. So a lot of our products that we make in East Hampton, they're handmade by artisans, resettled here in the Pioneer Valley from refugee camps. And then we also support refugee programs around the world. So that's our focus.
Hi, I'm Beth Spong from Dean's Beans Organic Coffee. We sell organic fair trade coffee. We're a 31-year-old company that was started, if there had been a B Corp movement at that time, it would have been a B Corp then. It was started in 1993 as an experiment. Dean Sycon wanted to know, can I create a company that will be profitable while taking care of the environment and being good for coffee farmers and their communities and being good for our workers? If I can't do it, we'll make it a nonprofit. If we can't make a profit, we'll make it a nonprofit. And lo and behold, it's been a profitable, growing business for 31 years. So I've been the CEO since June 30th of last year and been with the company in one form or another for about 4 years. We buy only organic, fair trade, shade-grown coffees from 11 countries around the world. And we roast it in Orange, Massachusetts, and we sell it around the country to businesses that are serving it or selling it, and to individuals and businesses that are brewing it and drinking it.
My name is Kat. I'm one of the co-founders of Berkshire Cider Project, and we make hard cider in the Berkshires, as our name suggests. I'm definitely the newest B Corp of this esteemed table. We became a B Corp in April of 2023. Our mission broadly is to celebrate the Berkshire region through hard cider. We'll talk about more what that means, but essentially it's sourcing locally, partnering with local nonprofits. We have a giving pledge that we can talk more about, hiring locally, and really answering the question what it means to make hard cider in this region that we love very much.
The B Corp certification is not easy. It's not just like a certification that you pay for. It is hard, and we have to go through it. Just remind me, what is it, every 3 years? I know the process is changing a bit, but yeah, it's not easy. So when you bump into a B Corp, you know that they actually are caring and considerate about the planet and about their employees. I forgot to mention, Revision is a employee-owned company as well. We're 100% employee-owned. We're about to hit 500 employees, which is pretty darn exciting. And I really don't know that we would be here if we weren't a B Corp or an ESOP. And the reason for that is because we have very low turnover, because our employees love working for a B Corp and an employee-owned company. It really makes a difference. And the reason why we became a B Corp, honestly, I asked our founder this question because I thought, when I first stumbled upon it, I was like, now, is this like a marketing ploy? Like some of the certificates out there? And he said, honestly, I didn't even think about it like that. We wanted to be a really good company. And we thought, well, this is a way to stay accountable. And you have to recertify and you have to go through this rigorous, it takes months, right? months to recertify. And so I have realized over the last 7 years that he absolutely is right, that it is not a certificate that you get to market. It is something that you get that you believe in, and there's a handbook. Do you all have the handbook? We have a leadership management certificate for everyone at Revision Energy, and we have to read through the handbook and be like, okay, this is what we're doing well, and this is what we're not doing well, and how can we do this better? It's like really infiltrated within our culture, which is amazing. So my question to you all is, why did you become a B Corp? And how's it going?
Well, we just went through our third recertification process, and what I can say is the first time is brutal. But it's brutal because you don't have the system set up, you haven't been measuring. But I think now, having done it 4 times, it is easier every time. It takes less than a month now because we know what's coming. And we're measuring these things. And there's a point of pride every time now because you look forward to your score, hopefully. But we started in 2010, and at that time, B Corp wasn't that well known. But we did go through an evaluation to see how we would score, and we chose to become Fair Trade certified because we were working with widows overseas in a war zone. And Fair Trade is a much more focused on the social mission and that kind of impact. And so it made more sense to us. We also were bootstrapping. We didn't have enough resources to do both. So we chose Fair Trade certification. And at that time, definitely consumers didn't know much about B Corp, where it doesn't matter who you're certified by Fair Trade, everyone knows the name. And then a couple years later, we were contacted by someone from B Lab who used to work at Ben & Jerry's, and she just started talking to me about it. And we had lots of conversations, and the more conversations I had, the more I really liked the philosophy, which is constant improvement. And the other piece of it is that B Corp certification is sort of equally balanced between environmental sustainability and then social impact. And that resonated as well. And then that just happened to be at a time when we started working more and more with resettled refugees here in the Valley. And the way Fair Trade works is the impact is looking at the global South. And so we were sort of stretching the criteria to the point where the World Fair Trade Organization made a special membership category just for prosperity candle. And that was contentious among the members. And then by 2014 also, all these big brands had joined, Patagonia or Eileen Fisher, Ben & Jerry's. So these kinds of companies were really elevating the B Corp brand. They were putting it out there. There felt like more movement and energy behind it. And so we just decided that it was a better fit for Prosperity Candle for those reasons. And it is. It's a great certification process. It's something that our team is very proud of. It's one of the reasons when people come and join us, it's a verification of the values they have and the reason they wanted to work with Prosperity Candle. And here's this third party. So every time we need to write a blog post about it or anything like that, it's sort of reinforcing that we're doing what we say we're doing.
You said you've been recertified 4 times. I'm curious, what those 4, where you are today, and
yeah, I feel like it's 2 things. It's like an evolution of doing business as a force for good, right? Whether you're fair trade or some type of other business that's trying to be fair or have an impact, whatever that impact is, I feel like B Corp is like the next evolution in this. It's not a static thing. Like every year, or every recertification process, they would like you to improve. And what I'll say, if anyone hasn't gone through the evaluation process, one of the most amazing things, besides the fact that it is so well organized and so methodical, like you're not sort of just reading through a massive handbook and trying to figure out whether you qualify. It's really methodical, and along the way they give you resources, they give you suggestions. You can always highlight something to go back and ask a question about, and then when you get certified, they actually walk through each one of your answers, or maybe not every answer, they sort of pick and choose, and then they help you even more. Like, their goal is to see you succeed. They're not there to say, well, you're not qualified to be a B Corp. It's very helpful. And we were just having a conversation earlier, saying my co-founder, co-owner and wife is here, Patsy, and one of the things we always say is that we have in the back of our mind B Corp with every decision and every investment we make. And a third of that is because it's the right thing to do, it matches our mission. A third of it is because it's going to help our score next time. And then I forget what the last third that I was suggesting that it was, but the driver is always for improvement. And so that's one of the reasons I really, really like it.
What was the question? When do we become a B Corp?
Why?
And why? So I told you about how the company was founded. Our mission is to use specialty coffee as a vehicle for positive change. How I describe it is we're in the business of social, economic, and environmental justice, and we sell coffee to support that business. The B Corp values and approach is kind of baked into how we approach things from the very beginning. And now that we are also 100% employee-owned, a worker-owned cooperative, as of June 30th of last year, Dean retired, sold the company to the employees. I became the CEO. I had been the COO before that. We went through the process as we were becoming a worker-owned cooperative of affirming our mission and our vision and our company values and articulating a little more fully what we mean by them. And so our team is 100% committed to that mission, vision, and those values. So they are, in fact, a decision filter for us. Should we do this or that? Or we're deciding among three options. Well, is it good for the environment? Is it good for the people that it's going to affect? Is it just? As well as, like, are we the right people to do it? Can we do it? Those things. But if it's not aligned with our values, then we can't do it. And so I just have, as an example, so frac packs are those little, like, foil cellophane packages of roasted coffee that institutions use to brew coffee. Like, all the big colleges and universities, hotels, hospitals, they have these packages of pre-measured roasted coffee. And it's a big market, and colleges and universities, it would be a great fit for us, but we haven't been able to do it because, or even think about doing it because of the plastic foil bags. Because our bags are compostable and post-consumer recycled. We have been working with this group of UMass MBA students from the Eisenberg School this semester on a project where they're sussing out the frac pack domain, from what's the market look like to where could we get environmentally friendly packaging for frac packs, and really doing a deep dive into the mechanics of that, because if it's a no-go with the packaging, it's a no-go. Doesn't matter if we could make a lot more money or if we could sell a lot more coffee. We can't do it if it's going to hurt the environment. That commitment is deep and it's strong and it's long-standing. And our team is really proud of that and really wants to carry Dean's legacy forward as we continue to move forward and grow as a company. I would also say that part of the why, as I mentioned earlier, is Dean wanting to help amplify the B Corp movement, be a part of it, but also be a part of inspiring other companies to make that choice and jump through those hoops as well. And so we're happy to be a B Corp.
Well, I want to say again, as the new B Corp on the block here, extremely inspired and share a lot of what you all have shared. When I thought about answering this question, I mean, the first thing that came to mind for me, which I think you would all agree, is values. So my husband and I started this company. We did not have a background in beverage, hospitality, restaurants, orcharding, any of it. We came from other jobs that we loved very much, but we always wanted to run our own business. And this passion for cider making kind of came together with an opportunity to do it. And we decided, not all at once, but kind of incrementally, to start this as a business. And both of us, I think, very much came to it, with this idea of like, if we're going to do this, we're going to take this risk, we're going to put our name on this company. We want to do something that we're really proud of. So we want to be proud of the product. We want to be proud of how we operate. We want to be proud of how we treat our employees. And we want to create a business that is true to the values that we hold in our personal life. And so that's a big reason for doing business the way that we do, and I think has been a big part of how and why we have been able to become a B Corp. The other piece, which, again, similar themes, is accountability. The assessment, as you've heard, is extremely rigorous. For a company like us, we're 3 full-time people right now. To have the policies that we have documented, to have the systems that we have around sourcing, waste, carbon footprint, all that kind of stuff is pretty unusual, unfortunately. And so it keeps us accountable to continue to measure and improve in those areas. And we'll be recertifying, I guess, next year maybe, or maybe the year after. And so again, that's always on my mind too. This is where I have to admit also that I have a little bit of a leg up, maybe, in that my previous job was in the corporate sustainability world. I was in a consulting role and then in-house at a large technology company doing sustainability reports. So we do have our own sustainability report. I swear our second is coming out as soon as I can find time. And so for me, that was a big advantage. I'd be happy to talk to anybody if you are looking at how to measure your carbon footprint, what goes into a sustainability report. One piece of B Corp certification is being transparent with what you're doing and how you're doing it, having some kind of formal disclosure. So I will admit I had a little bit of an advantage there. But it's still, it's still not easy. Again, I worked at a company where there were hundreds of people working on this kind of disclosure, and right now it's just me. If anyone would like to work on our Scope 3 emissions, let me know. You might have some insight into that. But yeah, values and accountability, I think for us, were just incredibly important. The additional benefit to all of that is the marketing, communication, and employee engagement piece. That's not why we did it, but it has opened up a lot of conversations with, local press who want to talk to us, want to talk about what this means. Our employees are very engaged, very diligent about measuring our waste, and she's taken that on. We've all taken it on, but in particular, our cider maker is very serious about weighing all of our waste. And again, being in the corporate sustainability world, I worked with all different kinds of companies, some who were very mature and very serious about their commitment, and some were perhaps not as far on that journey, let's say. And so I've also seen firsthand about how hard it is to retrofit that into a company. So starting from the beginning, as these guys have, I hope will just make it more durable, and it's baked into the business plan at this point. So,
thank you all. You all are inspiring me as well. My next question is about the biggest challenges and wins that you've had as being a B Corp. And in the meantime, I'm going to share a little story. Little personal story. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life when I left college. And I did 5 internships in college. And the last internship was at an advertising agency that had purple walls. And I was like, oh, this is it. There's a creative environment, people with tattoos and T-shirts, and they wore jeans and sneakers. And my last internship was with Merrill Lynch. So it was 180 from that experience. So I went into corporate advertising. With that being said, I worked on General Motors. They had a women's initiative at the time, which I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but it was the first time a vehicle was designed for women. And the most exciting part was that there was a compartment for your purse. Yeah, this is a true story. The Envoy, the GMC Envoy, was designed for a woman. I also worked on Hearts on Fire Diamonds, Brahmin Leatherworks, MTVU was my last project, and I have 3 kids, and I was like, what the heck am I doing with my life? What am I doing for my kids and their future? And I decided, on a whim, I just can't do it anymore. And I left my job and I decided to go out on my own, and I consulted for about 10 years focusing only on socially responsible businesses. And I bumped into Revision Energy along the way quite a few times, and they were so kind and so nice. And they said, hey, would you come in and talk to us about brand strategy and so forth? And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. It's very exciting. And I gave the presentation, and months later, I hadn't heard from them, which was depressing. And then they called and said, actually, what we did was we built a position, and we really want you to apply for the role. And I was like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. But this is a B Corp. This is, an incredible company with an incredible reputation. And it was the one reason why I said, yes, if I'm going to say yes to a company, it's this company because they're a B Corp and they're doing amazing things for the world. And I can feel really proud when I tell my kids what I do for work. I think a lot of us feel that way about being a part of a B Corp. We talk to our customers all the time about, why do you want to go solar and why Revision Energy? And they often say, when you really dig into the why, it's about their kids, and it's about their grandkids, and it's about making sure that the next generation is enjoying a world that they're a similar world to what they're enjoying, which we all know it's going to be hard work. Yeah. But it's nice to be a part of a company that's doing something great. The great part about being a B Corp is that we do hire wonderful people. They come to us because they want to be a part of this. And, it's not just a company to us. We hear it all the time from our employees that being a part of a B Corp and an ESOP is like you're a part of the family, which just sounds cheesy, but it's true.
One of the best things is the community, by far. So B Corp, once you're a B Corp, they have these things called beehives. There's one in Boston, there's one in Vermont, and it's all over the world. And they put on meetups, webinars. I just participated in one yesterday, and it was about leveraging the B Corp brand for marketing, right? And so it's about raising awareness, and then they give you all these resources, videos, talking points, everything that you can use in your own marketing so that this incredible thing you've done that you're proud of can actually also help your business in terms of revenue. And then just separately, for years we participated in a B Corp event in Vermont with Eileen Fisher and Cabot and King Arthur Flower and others. And it's just a wonderful community. We went up there, and I think we probably, it's the middle of summer, it's not a great candle time, and we spent more money on the Airbnb than probably we made, but it's just always so much fun. And the point of it was community, to share ideas and just spread the word. So I would say that's one of the best things. But what struck me when you asked that is, what is a win, right? Yeah. Because you can say community is great. There's a lot of communities great. The fair trade community is great, right? As much as people didn't know about B Corp, once you explained it to them, it has huge value. And it is a certification. So it's this third-party certification. So we were asked to do this, what at the time was our largest contract, right? It was for Staples. It was working with PNC Bank, which at the time I think was the largest bank. And it was a big deal. But they came to us and they said, we need to make sure you don't have child labor and all this stuff, right? We're like, we're making these in East Hampton. They had these rules that were global rules, and they said, you have to pay for this third-party certification. There's no way around it. It's contractual. If you don't do it, you don't get the contract, right? And this went on for weeks, and it's just me on the phone with lawyers. I kept saying, I don't understand why this applies to us. Come over and check us out. You're just down the street or whatever. And finally I said, have you heard of B Corp? And they said, no. This huge multi-billion-dollar company, no. What is it? And so I sent them the information, and it took them about a week. And then we had another call, me with the three lawyers on the other end, and they said, we're waiving the whole thing. Your B Corp certification stands in for all these other things that we said you had to do, that we make someone overseas do, but you don't have to do it. And so The value of that was somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000 was how much it would have cost us. So that was a win, and the whole order went through, and we were psyched. Challenges have always been figuring out how to leverage it for marketing. But as a company that's been B Corp certified for a decade now, I can say it is rapidly changing. And it's accelerating. It's kind of amazing now, and I think we were talking about this earlier. Now that when you joined, it's a completely different universe. The number of companies that are not only B Corp certified but are actively promoting it and highlighting it on their packaging is great. So that now, even if we do a lot of B2B where it really sort of has resonance, and even if they don't know specifically, they recognize the logo. You tell them what it is, and it's basically like this stamp of approval. And so that has been a challenge, but it's getting less and less. We're finding it more and more valuable.
I would echo what Ted had to say about the value with the consumer, and I think it's definitely growing, the recognition of the B Corp, what it stands for. I think consumers look for it now, which definitely helps. And we didn't do it to get more business. We did it to make a statement. And so the wins for us are, yes, it's a really rigorous process to get certified, and that in itself feels like, okay, we did this hard thing, and we are making this statement to the world, like, this is what we're about. That feels really important. And for us also, like a lot of businesses talk about sustainability, and it's an easy buzzword to throw around. Being a coffee company, we're buying green beans, organic, fair trade, shade-grown green beans. Not green beans, but green coffee beans. Sustainability and our commitment to the environment is like, okay, what are we doing at source? What are we purchasing? What are the environmental practices? The fair trade certification is a lot about people, and the organic certification is about the environment. And because we know the soil will be better and it won't be degraded, we know the habitats will be preserved and biodiversity will be encouraged and reforestation will occur. So what do our commitments look like at source, where we're actually buying the coffee beans? And we have long-term relationships with a coffee growing cooperatives that we buy from. A lot of coffee companies are looking to spend as little money as possible on the coffee that they buy and to make as much money on the coffee that they sell. And that's not our model. We want to know, how much can we pay the farmers and still make a profit? What's the price point that we can sell our coffee for so that regular people can afford to drink delicious specialty coffee that's not harming the planet? We occupy a space that not a lot of other companies occupy. But when we travel to the coffee lands, we sit down with farmers and we talk to them about their lives and their needs, and we ask them, what would make your children's lives better? What will strengthen your community? And we hear all different kinds of things. We always hear we need help with reforestation. We need water, access to water that we can drink. But then we hear things like we need maternal health. We need literacy. We need education for our children. And so we, as a company, have a formula that we use based on the volume of coffee that we buy from different countries and investing back in the projects that they have let us know that they need. So that's sort of outside the financial arrangement of purchasing coffee. It's in addition to the fact that we are paying them the fair trade premium, the organic premium, a bird-friendly premium if they're bird-friendly certified. And so that feels like a huge win for us, because then internally in Orange, Massachusetts, what are we doing to live those values? Dean put what we call the beanery. Somebody called it a factory one day. He said, "It's not a factory, it's a beanery." So he put it in Orange, Massachusetts, because He did demographic research about the counties in Franklin County, the communities in Franklin County, and Orange was particularly economically depressed. He's like, I'm going to put my company there because they need good jobs with good benefits, and they need companies to contribute to the tax base so schools and public services can be available. So we're going to Orange. So that's where we're based. And it's always been a really good company to work for in terms of pay and benefits. We use coffee roasters that are really energy efficient. The beanery is, and our warehouse are solar powered. We have a lot of solar panels on our roofs. And we roast with propane because there's not a really good electric coffee roaster yet. And our coffee roasters use about 70 to 80% less energy and fuel than the other brands of roasters that are available. So our packaging, as I said, post-consumer recycled, compostable. So there are the commitments that happen every day in our building and in our practices, and there are the commitments that we have every day in our relationships abroad. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Again, we're new on the scene here, but we haven't been to any of the B Corp meetups or anything like that. We'll have to make a trip.
Let's go.
Great. But what I can say, so we're in the Berkshires in North Adams. We are one of just 2 cideries in that region. There's not, frankly, that many close by to us. So sometimes it can feel like we're a little bit on an island by ourselves. And so for me, being part of the B Corp community reminds me that we're part of something larger. And like when I'm at the grocery store and I pick up a bag of coffee or whatever product and it says B Corp certified, I feel pride in myself about it, that I am part of this movement. So that's been really great and sort of unexpected for me because I always looked at it before, but now I feel like it's mine a little bit. Even though we just became certified last year, we've been measuring a lot of data since 2020. We were founded in 2019, released our first products in 2020. And unless my math is incorrect, while our carbon footprint has gone up, that's what happens often when you grow, our intensity, so how much carbon we use to create each gallon of cider that we make, has gone down by a lot more than that, which is not something I would have known if we hadn't been measuring all this data to become a B Corp, which is pretty exciting to me. I would say one of the challenges we're facing, so to become a B Corp, you have to get a score of 80 on the assessment. And again, it's across a lot of different categories. There's a lot of different ways you can get there. You can excel in one area and not another. We came in at 80.7. right over the top there. And I think one of the interesting things and frustrating things and things that we're going to be addressing going forward is all the things that we can't currently impact. So we don't own our supply chain. We work with local orchards. We purchase apples or juice from them. We forage apples, but I don't control, and I don't currently have enough purchasing power to necessarily impact how they're growing their apples. A lot of them are pick your own orchards, so obviously their main focus is getting really beautiful fruit that you all enjoy when you go there in the fall. As cider makers, I don't care what the fruit looks like. So at this point, we can't really impact their growing practices. We hope to in the future. We're going to get more into orcharding. Again, coming from the corporate world, like Heineken can put millions and billions of dollars into sustainable packaging innovations, like an all cardboard bottle, which is lined with plastic, but I can only choose from what is available from my suppliers. We're in a leased space, so I can't control where the energy comes from. It's a very drafty space. I can't really meaningfully change that. So those are all challenges, but they're also opportunities. So I was sharing that we purchased a new to us building built in 1965 about a year ago. And hopefully this summer we're going to break ground on renovating that building. So all these things, energy efficient lighting, good insulation, solar, all this stuff we can put into that. Yeah.
I know someone.
Okay, great. Yes, exactly. I'll give you a call. Planting in the parking lot, all these things that I want to be able to do that we can't currently do. So yeah, so hopefully we'll go above 80.7 next time around.
You will. Thank you. I believe revision started in the 80s. Our last score was 150, which is one away from Patagonia, which we're very excited about.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're in the top 1% of all B Corps with our. I know. It's a lot of work. I didn't mention the challenge that we've had. One of the things that we're doing now is part of the B Corp score. One of the areas you can get additional points on is transparency with your wages. With 500 people, that's incredibly hard if you've never done it before. And so next week, we are doing it. We are finally, it's been years in the works, really honing it. And the reason why they do this is for equity reasons. As we know, women often make less than men. It still is true today. That's what the data shows. Minorities make less than the rest of the world. And so this is a way for us to really show up and be honest about how we're paying our people at Revision. And it is hard, because everyone's going to look at everyone's wages, it's bands that we're showing, but they're going to compare and so forth. But we're really excited about it because we know it's the right step, because it's a part of the B Corp process. If they said it's a right step, then no. Our mission is to make life better by creating a just and equitable electric future. And that just and equitable is in our mission. And it is something that we consistently, continuously know we need to improve and grow. And this is one of the areas we're able to do that. Yay. So local. In this area, I'm curious how the community has embraced you as a B Corp. Has that helped your business in this area or not?
In terms of consumers, there isn't a huge amount of awareness, but they're ready to hear it. Everyone who buys from us knows about our mission and our impact. They may know about how we started by helping war widows in a conflict zone, and then we worked in Haiti. They're ready to hear about what B Corp is, and it just sort of puts a confirmation or third-party verification on something they already know. So, and then in terms of businesses, it's always, I keep saying, the B2B, if anyone has that type of business market that they're looking for, there's always great value, and that's local, regional. Absolutely. So we're proud of it, and it's something we always like to show. And then in terms of regional impact, we were going through all the same problems that you were going through. So for over 10 years, 12 years, we've been in drafty, old, repurposed mill buildings in spaces that were not intended for candle making. We just sort of retrofitted them. In our most recent space, it was 6 different spaces on 2 different floors, which is just a logistical nightmare, but also we had no control over heat, cooling, anything like that. So our leases were up, and last year we moved into another old renovated mill building, but it was a completely empty canvas. We designed it. We hired a mechanical engineer to help us figure out sustainability. So, we have this powerful mission. I think I mentioned that we were always doing kind of environmentally responsible things, which are part of the certification process. But energy efficiency had always been our biggest hill to climb because we didn't have control over it. But we got innovative. We designed our new studio is using 71% less energy per square foot than our previous one, which means our candles have 71% smaller carbon footprint, which is the regional impact piece of it. And we're measuring that energy, every piece of major equipment, but then the whole studio. We're measuring it by the second, every single day. So when I say that this is what we're using and this is our carbon footprint, it's digitally shown to us every single day, and then we're recording it. I'm really hoping that it improves our B Corp score in 2 years because it's something we're proud of. But that is an example of taking the B Corp ethos and the constant improvement and looking, as you said, looking at where you're you just don't have control over something, so you're always going to score poorly on that. and saying, okay, so now we have the opportunity. We're buying an old building. Now we have the opportunity. How can we do this? And of course, it also drives energy, money savings. I mean, what we did cost money up front, but we're estimating right now that we're going to spend somewhere between $11,000 and $13,000 less per year in energy.
That's awesome.
Which is just extraordinary. We'll see if that plays out, but that's the estimate. And I'm just like, wow, we had no idea that it would be that successful. So that's kind of our regional impact piece. And I, when I tell people that, they respond very well.
Local has always been part of our marketing. We like to do business with local companies. We like to advertise or promote the fact that we are local and just be values forward with the conversation we're having about the business. And people are super responsive to that. And we are really attentive to investing in and supporting and purchasing from local businesses whenever we can. And I don't think that being a B Corp moved the needle for us specifically because we were built that way. And so that is built into our DNA. And we got an external certification for our DNA. What we're hoping is that because so many people are concerned about things that are happening around the globe and about the environment and about climate and don't feel like they can do anything about it. So for impact on the consumer side, 64% of people in this country drink coffee every day. It's a huge, huge market. 3% of coffee grown on the planet is certified organic. 3%. When people understand that you were talking about children and grandchildren and the concern that people have for their children and grandchildren, that's where people get concerned about the planet is because they love their children and their grandchildren. And so when people understand that by buying organic coffee that's not degrading soil and that's not ruining animal habitats and that's promoting biodiversity, and by the fact that we are investing in reforestation around the globe, that all those things spell a different future for my children and grandchildren. So that's really meaningful to a lot of people. And understanding, as you were talking about, Ted, the fair trade piece, that it's about economic and educational opportunities for people in coffee growing communities. It's about gender equity. It's about respecting culture of the community that we're buying from. It's about preventing child labor. The combination of those things, there's caring about people and there's caring about the planet, and that goes a long way with people. And so the answer to what can I do because I love my children and my grandchildren is one thing you could do just about every day is drink organic fair trade coffee because of those things. And it can be that simple for people. Buy fair trade candles from a B Corp. Buy cider from a B Corp. That's a way to make a statement and also make a difference. So I think that local impact, it gets communicated in those kinds of ways because it's personal.
Where I have talked about it most is with anytime we're covered in a newspaper or other piece like that, it's an interesting talking point, right? There's not a lot of B Corps around. It gives you an extra paragraph or whatever in an article, which is great. It's also with other local businesses, and people are curious about it. Last I checked, we were one of 2 B Corps in the Berkshires. I forget what the Massachusetts number is, but certainly in our region, there's not a lot. And so what I hope is that it also serves as an inspiration to other businesses. If we can do it as a 3-person, very new, cidery in a leased space, we're not doing anything revolutionary here. We're measuring things. We're trying to get better. We give away 2% of our revenue to local nonprofits. Like, nothing is rocket science over here. So I hope that people see, like, if we can do it, they can do it. And then we just have a community of businesses in Western Massachusetts and the Berkshires that are a model for how to do business in the future.
I'm curious, do you have a favorite B Corp? Or do you have a B Corp that you buy from? We always look for B Corps. One of the things we do at Revision is, at events or conferences, or even when we're sitting down with a business owner or a homeowner, we've realized a lot of our homeowners have dogs. And one of the things that we give away are Westpaw dog toys, because Westpaw is a B Corp, and they're awesome. I have a dog that eats every dog toy ever known to man. And Westpaw makes a dog toy that my dog doesn't eat. But anyway, which is great, because you don't want to give any dog toys away to, hurt dogs. Anyway, moving on. So Westpaw is actually a favorite of mine as well. Do you all have a favorite?
Start since I'm over here. I mean, maybe it's just on my mind because I was eating it, but I think Cabot is probably my most consumed B Corp.
We work with Badger, and so they buy our coffee at a discount, and we get their products, and so that's a company fave. Badger produces lip balms and skin products and sleep salves and all kinds of natural, cool stuff. And they're a B Corp.
Well, besides Dean's Beans, I actually grew up in a cheese shop, literally like a little cheese shop. Wow. And cheddar was sort of my go-to. So I always love when I pick up Cabot and see the B Corp logo. And then surprisingly, it's an odd thing, like, when you pick flour, for example, you're sort of thinking about unbleached and all these kinds of things that you might want. But the fact that King Arthur is a B Corp makes me, go their way. And so it does. It influences my purchasing on something as simple as flour.
Yeah. Lydia just told me that San Pellegrino is now a B Corp. Oh, did you know that?
Awesome.
I didn't know that.
But is it on their package?
Not yet. No, they just changed.
October 2023. That's so cool.
Woo woo. So now we feel better about drinking San Pellegrino.
Yeah.
Find links to all the speakers on this panel discussion on B Corp certification by going to the show notes for this here episode 414 of Cider Chat. And while you're there, if you find value in this podcast, please do consider becoming a patron today. Just go to the Cider Chat Patreon page or hit the donate button at ciderchat.com. And with that, I leave you here. This is a Real Wind Caller signing off for now. Looking forward to seeing you in Ciderville.
We like cider. We like ponds. We love orchards and having fun. There is a reason. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes, there is. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes, there is. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Oh yes, there is. There is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. We like cider. We like ponds. We like orchards, having some fun. There is a reason. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes, there is. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes, there is. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Oh yes, there is. There is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. Oh yeah. We like cider. Oh yes, we do. We like ponds. Oh yes, we do. We love orchards, having having some fun. There is a reason why we do it like this.
Ba-da-da-dum.
There's a reason why we do it like this.
Ba-da-da-dum.
There is a reason why we drink it like this.
Ba-da-da-dum.
Ba-da-da-dum. We like walking down the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet.
Oh, yeah.
We like cider.
Ba-da-da-dum.
We like palms.
Oh, yes, we do.
We like orchards, having some fun.
Yeehaw!